In August of 2017, outside of the port of Melbourne, Australia, the fishing vessel Mako was outbound headed to the fishing grounds. At the same time, the container ship Glasgow Express was inbound for Melbourne. The Australian Transportation Safety Bureau acknowledged that both vessels identified the other one existed. However, at approximately 22:46 local time, they collided. Today we'll take a look at Rules 4, 5, and 6, which are part of the sailing and steering rules for when vessels are in any type of visibility. These cover the application, lookouts, and safe speed rules. The following are for both international and inland. Rule 4, the application. Rules in this section apply to any condition of visibility. Rule 5, lookout. Every vessel shall at all times maintain a proper lookout by sight and hearing, as well as by all available means appropriate in the prevailing circumstances and conditions, so as to make a full appraisal of the situation and of the risk of collision. In the ATSB report of the Mako and the Glasgow Express, the root cause was determined to be the failure to provide proper lookout by both vessels. The full deck lights on the Mako reduced the vision of the captain, as well as inhibited the Glasgow Express from properly identifying what lights they were seeing. Additionally, a large fishing net drum obstructed the view from the wheelhouse of the Mako. On the Glasgow Express's bridge, the bridge team managed to identify the Mako. However, they did not follow up their assessment by radar to determine if risk of collision existed. Rule 6, safe speed. Every vessel shall, at all times, proceed at a safe speed so that she can take proper and effective action to avoid collision and be stopped within a distance appropriate to the prevailing circumstances and conditions. In determining safe speed, the following factors shall be among those taken into account. For all vessels, they shall take into account the state of visibility, traffic density, including concentration of fishing vessels or any other vessels, maneuverability of the vessel with special reference to stopping distance and turning ability in those prevailing conditions. At night, the presence of background lights, such as from shore lights or from backscatter of her own lights. The state of wind, sea, and current, and the proximity of navigational hazards. And draft in relation to the available depth of water. For vessels that are equipped with an operational radar, they'll also need to take into account the characteristics, efficiency, and limitations of that radar equipment, any constraints imposed by the radar range scale in use, the effect of the radar on the detection of the sea state, weather, and other sources of interference, the possibility that small vessels, ice, and other floating objects may not be detected by radar at an adequate range, number, location, and movement of vessels detected by radar, and the more exact assessment of the visibility that may be possible when radar is used to determine the range of vessels or other objects in the vicinity. While both vessels failed to adhere to Rule 5 and provide sufficient lookout, they also failed to comply with Rule 6. In the comments below, let's talk about the breakdowns that occurred in their adherence to Rule 6. What do you think contributed to the incident? Knowing your radar settings is a critical piece of information, one that can save your hide in court. Important things to know are your display mode. Are you in north up, course up, or heads up? Are you looking at relative motion or true motion? Is your radar stabilized or unstabilized? Are you equipped with ARPA, and if so, are you certified? What range is the radar being operated in? Was the radar properly tuned? When was it last tuned? These questions and more will be brought up multiple times during an investigation, and even more during any litigation. Question of the week. Last week's question and answer, inland only. What lights shall be displayed by a power-driven vessel pushing ahead above the Huey P. Long Bridge? The answer, side lights and 2 towing lights in a vertical line. Nobody provided the correct answer for the second straight week in a row. However, several of you got pretty close. This week's question, a power-driven vessel that departs a dock and operates a stern propulsion in sight of another vessel shall sound what signals? Please include your answers in the comments below. Next week, we'll take a look at Rule 7, the risk of collision. Please remember to click like, subscribe, and stay safe out there. Have a great week, everyone.